Today is July 10th. Happy birthday, Garrett, 2020. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 4 of the Mashing Joys Podcast. I am once again your host, Cody Myers, also known as Mediocre Panda. And sitting across the interwebs from me, as always, is my co-host, cousin, and co-conspirator for world domination, Mr. Jason Kaysen. How you doing, buddy?
You know what? I am doing great. I'm doing a lot better now that I know it's G Money's birthday.
Yeah, dog.
Happy birthday, Big G. Miss hitting the sticks with you, but happy birthday. Hope all is well. And we'll dedicate this awesome episode to you.
Yeah, it's going to be a fire episode too.
Massively fire.
Yeah, because we got a lot to talk about.
I mean, I don't wear my cat dog hat for nothing.
That's facts. That's true. He doesn't even wear it when I'm around. This is the first time I'm seeing it. And it's incredible, by the way.
It fits great. Looks great.
I already know what you'll say about my hat, which is why it's backwards. So
is it your Doyer hat?
Nah, dude.
Uh-oh.
All Elite Wrestling. Here we go, dude.
Pretty sure I'd rather see the Doyer hat.
Yeah, dude. All right. So
does look fresh though. I'll give you that.
Dude. Just came in the mail yesterday. Nice. Shout out to Pro Wrestling Tees.
Nice.
Apparently they make hats too. Who knew?
Who knew? It's not in the name. We wouldn't know.
Yeah. But we got a bit to talk about. Bit of news goings on in the video game sphere, whether it be companies releasing things, expressing interest in things, or companies just fucking shutting down. And also, we're going to grace our beautiful listeners with another one of our top 10 lists, which we will get into it. Yeah, dude, fucking lists are the best. If we could come up with a concept for a list every episode and people didn't fucking hate it, I would do it 100%. This could be a list show and I'd be fine with it.
Facts.
But first thing on the docket for today is we are talking about the UFC. If you follow the Ultimate Fighting Championship in any capacity, you may have heard since the whole COVID-19 dilemma came up, they haven't really been doing very many fights. They started doing events just a couple months ago with no fans, just commentators, some press, and team members and officials. Well, Dana White, that fucking guy, bought a goddamn island in Abu Dhabi, which is named Fight Island.
It's actually Yas Island.
Is it Yas Island?
Yeah, Y-A-S, Yas Island.
Did you call it that?
No. Dead serious. It's Yas Island.
Oh.
They're titling it Fight Island because fights are happening there, but Dana White actually didn't buy it. He leased it, and it's actually already an island. It's Yas Island, but they're calling it Fight Island. But yeah, Dana White's a madman.
Fight Island, aka Yas Queen Island.
Yas Queen.
So they have an event coming up tomorrow, Saturday, July 11th, UFC 251, which I have a feeling I'll probably be watching with my dear co-host here. That card is fucking stacked. Holy shit. If you want to watch the top tier of people beating the shit out of each other, that's probably going to be it. 3 title fights, it's going to be awesome. But that doesn't necessarily pertain to video games. What does is they have planned the official reveal for EA Sports UFC 4 at this event. I'm sure it'll be on the pay-per-view portion because, you want to see it? Pay us $60. So they want you to pay the price of the game to see the game. But we'll do it anyway. Whatever.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, you still get some bitchin' fights.
Yeah, for real. Major fights. I am kind of bummed that they're not actually fighting on the like beachfront. They put together that octagon for all the promos and stuff, but
Yeah.
apparently that's not even going to be used because it's going to be like 120, 30 degrees. So
Jesus Christ.
safety wise, they can't even use it for like practice or anything. They might shoot some promos, some promo photos or whatever, but that octagon will basically not be used at all for the foreseeable future.
I think it would be badass if they did like the weigh-ins on that octagon.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be sick. But bad news for EA Sports and UFC. Some fuckhead leaked it. Someone, who knows who, leaked the reveal already.
It was probably Ariel Helwani.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We're on to you. We're on to your shit. But I haven't watched the leaks. Have you?
I saw a little bit from them. Actually, what was funny is I was watching an interview with Ariel Helwani, and for those of you that don't know the backstory, Ariel Helwani is like the biggest insider when it comes to mixed martial arts. He's like the Adam Schefter of MMA, and the only difference is Adam Schefter has a really good relationship with Roger Goodell. Ariel Helwani has a absolutely terrible relationship with Dana White because they clashed at the beginning of this whole thing before it blew up. And Dana White basically said, I don't want you to be a part of any of this. So Ariel kind of went on his own thing. And basically how it started was Ariel was just a guy that broke news stories. That's what he did. He was a beat writer and he was really good at it. And he was someone that people trusted. So everyone does an interview with him. He'll get information out of everybody, and he's not afraid to share the information that people need to hear. And I was actually watching an interview because there was a picture of that octagon on the beachfront, and Ariel Helwani said, "Why are we putting these as promos when this is not going to be fought on the beach?" And Dana White responded to that and said, "It's good that Ariel Helwani doesn't know shit." So they were interviewing Ariel about that and basically how he knows everything. And he was basically saying that like the reason why Jorge Masvidal and Conor McGregor and all these guys are quote unquote retiring is because they have fights and they've agreed to fight certain people, and the UFC wants other people to fight them before they fight them. UFC sees like right now with everything going on, they could probably get one big fight every month. So they don't want to keep booking these fights with these big name fighters. People get sick, people get hurt. They're trying to prolong everything and book everything out and kind of drag it out. And these fighters don't want that. So that's why they're quote unquote retiring. So Ariel's like leaking all this stuff. And he's like, I know what these deals are. I know what these numbers are, but I'm not going to say them because it's not my place. It's the fighter's place. So I would not be surprised if most of this stuff was leaked to Ariel, and he's the one that's kind of behind all of it, because when it comes to UFC leaks, video games, fights, TV deals, anything like that, Ariel is always right there.
And with these fighters retiring, at the end of the day, it is a combat sport. You get fucked up just about every single time you go in there. And as we've seen with a heightened awareness in basically every sport, CTE is kind of a thing. And if you get punched in the head hard enough or kneed in the head, that's going to have some effects.
Or for Cowboy Cerrone, get the little shoulder action.
Yeah. Knocked out with a shoulder. To be fair, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of that shoulder either. So, like, fucking no shade thrown towards Cerrone.
Absolutely not.
That was absolutely brutal to watch.
Good actor, that Cerrone. Complete opposite of Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Who can't put together a good performance to save his fucking life. Sorry.
Nope.
Actually, not sorry. You're garbage at everything.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I haven't watched the leaks because I'm just going to watch the event and I'm going to see it there. So
yeah, I don't want to ruin it. I feel like it's I feel like this Yas Island is going to be a humongous hit.
Yeah.
And especially with all the fights that they have. I'm like,
oh yeah.
The main card alone has 3 title fights, one major fight with Rose Namajunas or whatever her name is
Eunice.
coming back. She's an assassin. And then Paige Van Zant on her last fight on her contract, which does not happen in the UFC. If your contract's about to end, you always re-up because UFC is the biggest partner in mixed martial arts.
And
But
Bellator's a joke.
Paige Van Zant has over 2 million social media followers. She's this big face and she wants to fight and prove her worth. And she is not basically being exclusive to UFC. She's allowing everyone to bid. And this fight, she's going to put on whatever show she wants to put on. She's also been 1-3 in her last 4 fights. So she has not won fights, and yet she's still popular. So,
Yeah.
I mean, every fight on this main card, this is probably the most stacked main card as the talent sits in their prime. You could probably pull main cards back where, like, big names were up and coming, so they weren't necessarily in their prime, but they're still a big name. There's probably a lot of big names on the card, but this card is prime athletes, big names, 3 title fights. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that the price of the card isn't more because
Yeah.
of the value that you're getting and the fact that it's in Abu Dhabi, which is not a cheap place to be.
Yeah. No. But it's Dana White. It's pocket change.
Yeah.
I'm sure the buy rate's going to be through the fucking roof.
They're saying once Masvidal entered over I want to say Evans, but it's not Evans. The whoever the guy was that was going to fight Usman before Masvidal stepped in because the other dude tested positive for COVID. They were saying that there was like a 36% increase in pre-orders of the fight once Masvidal was announced. Like, crazy. It's going to be probably the most they've made for viewership in the history of the UFC. Now, money-wise, it might not equate to the most because they don't have actually people there watching, but viewship, it's got to be top for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I'm not going to take too much time looking into this. Maybe we'll talk about it later if I find it. But, yep. So if you're interested in the UFC, interested in watching people get absolutely wrecked by other people using fists, knees, kicks, and everything in between, probably buy this card. It's going to be insane. But moving into our second segment, we wanted to talk about another report coming out from Microsoft. Apparently, they have expressed interest in buying a studio known as WB Games, Warner Brothers Games. You may know them for putting out such hits as the Batman Arkham series. Phenomenal games. Mortal Kombat is under their banner with NetherRealm Studios. Big titles, big fan bases. Microsoft, I don't know if they're going to try to make a push if they purchase these rights, if they purchase this overarching studio, I suppose. If they're going to make a push to bring it to exclusive, because, man, that would be a shot at PlayStation if they took Batman Mortal Kombat and made it exclusive. I don't foresee Mortal Kombat being exclusive just due to the fact that it's fucking Mortal Kombat. People have been playing it for decades. And you can't just take that away from a huge player base.
I think contractually, they couldn't for Mortal Kombat because of the character's likeness and name rights through the PlayStation. Because multiple things, or Sony, Nintendo, all of them, because like even like character icons and everything have been sold, and generally when that happens, there's like multi-year deals that even if the studio changes, the big name console creators have rights still to their likeness and their names. So I don't think Mortal Kombat, if I were Microsoft and this was my plan, it would be solely to take Batman away from PlayStation, which if they can make, which would be extremely difficult now since they're so late in the game, but if they could make a Batman game exclusive for the Xbox and announce it when the new Xbox Series X comes out, whether it comes out at launch or not, it wouldn't come out at launch, too late. But if they can announce it when it's launched, then they can battle with the Miles Morales game, and that can really work with that there. But I want to say Warner Brothers also has Golf Clash, which isn't a console game, but mobile game that's very, very popular mobile game.
Yeah.
I believe they have Golf Clash, which would
Yeah.
be a big pickup for Microsoft.
Yeah. Huge, considering another thing we'll get to in a minute here, considering involving Microsoft. I think there have been rumors going around recently that another Batman game is in development. And apparently it's supposed to be like a Court of Owls game, which would be sick. That's a cool comic line. Something that's been rumored for years. But now the rumors are starting to gain a lot more traction. And I see it from your perspective exactly. If they were to do a Batman game, which they could announce at their first party showcase this month, which obviously if a deal doesn't go through, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And plus, if this game is in development, I'm sure there's already agreements with the powers that be at Sony and Microsoft to let the game come out on multiple platforms. But that would be a huge rival to Miles Morales, with it being not only Xbox versus PlayStation, but also the reigniting the war of DC versus Marvel, because that's always been a hotly debated topic over the years.
It's a bummer that Xbox will be on the wrong side of that.
Yeah. As much as I do love Batman, Marvel's just got way too much going for it currently. And just the Rogues Gallery is so good. But food for thought there. We will keep an eye out and report on if any developments are made. Let's see here. Another piece of information that came out just today was a photo from Sony displaying the box art, displaying what the PlayStation 5 box arts will look like, specifically Spider-Man Miles Morales. Man, it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
I think it would look way cooler in just like a clear case instead of the transparent blue they've been doing.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. The thing is, we're getting more things about the next gen consoles. As minuscule as they may seem, news is news, and it just keeps getting me excited. And I love how of all the games they chose to display it with, it had to be Spider-Man Miles Morales.
For sure. The one thing that I didn't like is I didn't like the similarity to the PS4 case. The one thing I like PS2 had very similar to the PS4, and same with the PS5. And then the PlayStation 3, it had the lettering along the side of it. I thought for sure when they went to the PS5, they would change whether that lettering wouldn't be on the side, but it'd be on the top. But like when you look at it side by side, and I'll see if I can get a picture up on this stream. But if you look at it side by side, it's basically the exact same, just blue background, white background, and a 5 instead of a 4.
Yeah.
But as far as how the disc will look, I mean, obviously they're going with how Blu-rays have looked for their entirety. I think it looks clean. I think, of course, you got to do Miles Morales because it's just badass.
Obviously.
And honestly, when we look back at it, especially for the ones that get the digital version, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, you're gonna worry about the cover tile art that's, you know, on your console, not necessarily the disc base that you no longer own.
Yeah. As we discussed before of our digital versus disc argument, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be going with digital based as we get closer and closer to this release.
Mm-hmm. I did see some rumors where they were going to actually use the old PlayStation logo, like on games that are either like making a comeback or games that are like direct sequels to like original games, that they would use like the old school PlayStation logo that had the red, the yellow, the green, and use that, and then do like the PS5 logo, but use that original PlayStation logo as a part of it to like give it a throwback to you know, being a PlayStation OG.
They should absolutely do that for Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that'd be dope.
That'd be so sick.
That would be dope for sure.
Oops. But moving into what we'll call the co-main event here, let's talk a little bit more about Microsoft, specifically their streaming service Mixer, or I suppose their former streaming service Mixer, because if you haven't heard the news by now, Mixer will be shutting down in the coming months. They are merging with Facebook Gaming, very up and coming service. I've seen a lot of the streamers that we're going to be talking to in the next month in our streamer spotlight series are Facebook Gaming streamers. So bringing the Mixer audience, if they choose so to continue following the brand, moving it over to Facebook Gaming will bring a lot more eyes to the product and bringing a lot more eyes to these streamers that normally may not see that. It kind of leaves some streamers in a weird spot, particularly some big names like Ninja and Shroud. They just signed huge deals, like $20 to $30 million deals to stream exclusively with a Mixer. And they say they're shutting down. They've been paid out, and they are now out of their contract and are free to stream wherever they want, which we've seen Ninja already take advantage of with a stream earlier this week on YouTube, which was kind of came out of nowhere. He was just like, hey, 10 minutes, I'm on here. And people filed in to watch this fucking guy play Fortnite again.
Crazy.
But as we've had it nailed into our heads, probably the most iconic name in gaming right now. I see why they were really hoping at Mixer to bring over his entire fan base, which didn't happen. If you look at his follower statistics on Twitch, his inactive channel is at 15 million followers, where he topped out at Mixer at 3.2. So a lot of people were hyped about the move, moved over and checked out his stream, and he didn't get the same retention, which moving from a streaming service like Twitch to Mixer, Twitch being what a lot of people consider the gold standard in streaming. We'll talk more about that eventually. Not happy. But
well, it's the OG.
Yeah, it's the first one that really brought to light video game streaming, aside from like Let's Play channels on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it gave a platform for people to respond in real time, other than watching like old MLG streams of Call of Duty and Halo and all that stuff. And it really surged to prominence with the BR movement, as we saw H1Z1 come out and PUBG and Fortnite, Apex Legends, Blackout, Warzone, all these BRs coming out of the woodwork. And it really gave a boost of popularity to streamers like Ninja, to Shroud, to Tim the Tap Man, who granted already had a decent following. But it's crazy. And there have been some other reports about Mixer on why they're closing. partially due to overspending on contracts exactly like that. They were sending out the bank, backing up the Brinks truck, if you will, to their front doors and paying these few select streamers tens of millions of dollars, and then didn't have enough to run their operation. Which, in a competitive business, which this is a very competitive business at this point, I see it, and you have to make an offer you can't refuse to these guys who are so recognizable, that are so popular, to bring their fan bases over and hopefully generate more revenue for you. But that seemed to be one of the signs of the downfall, as well as there have been some former streamers and former employees coming out talking about toxic work environment towards the streamers or internally to employees, people being forced out for taking things to HR, which they're not the only ones. Again, we'll talk about that at some point. But Mixer had a very short life. I know I kind of made my jump over there to watch a little bit when Shroud made his jump, because I'm a huge fan of Shroud. Every game he touches turns to gold. But what are your thoughts? Did you ever look at Mixer? What do you think of it?
I never really tuned into Mixer. I've never really been a big streaming guy. Like, I kind of just got into really focusing on some Facebook gaming streamers that I followed for a little bit. But like Twitch was never really my thing. I think the only time I ever used Twitch was when I was playing Rocket League religiously and was getting into tournaments that was hosted through Twitch. That was really the only time that I got into that. Like, I was never a Ninja fan. I never followed any of these guys that played BRs. I mean, realistically, the first BR game that I really played consistently was Apex. And then the new Call of Duty. I mean, I played Blackout like a couple times, and that was it. Like, it wasn't even something that I was super interested in. But I can tell you this from being in business for 12 plus years, there's going to be a lot of this, and there's going to be a lot of companies that you don't even know about, and there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come out of the woodwork after these big companies take hits, and you're going to be like, oh, never even heard of these guys. But everyone attacks everything differently. Okay. Mixer is attacking it by, hey, I'm going to try to take my biggest competitor's talent and use it against them, and that's how I'm going to make my money. Then you got guys like Facebook where they're like, hey, we are going to attack it by using our fan base as a company to our advantage. Our viewships, everything that we have built as a company, we're going to utilize to find these gamers out there that we appreciate, to make them, part of our quote unquote team. And then we're going to help them gain followers. And then once they get to a point, we're going to allow them to take this company to the next level. Those are the companies that are going to succeed. Twitch was one of those companies that did it, because that's how they started. It was something that was not prominent in the streaming / visual world that we lived in. The internet wasn't as big as it is right now. I mean, here we are doing a podcast with two people, and we're not even 5 miles from each other. We're way more than that. So there's countless business ideas that you can utilize to try to make that step, and you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. So to hear, read some of the allegations of toxic work environment and things like that, that will always happen no matter where you're at. But what is disheartening is how some of these companies aren't handling it the way that they need to be. And that's why good CEOs last forever, because they put their people first, and they take care of their people, and they listen. Not everyone's complaint is going to hold the validity of the next person, but you have to treat it like it is. And that is one of the things that led to Mixer's downfall. And I can guarantee you that putting all that money into that large talent, they were expecting such a quick turnaround for putting all that money in there. But what they forget is, Ninja didn't start on Twitch and immediately have 15 million followers. He grew that fan base. You can't expect all 15 to now move to a new service and then grow from that. He might drop and then he'll have to grow back to it, which you'll have to expect is going to happen if you're going to fork him all that kind of money. Perfect example is look at Patrick Mahomes. The guy just signed a deal for $500 million. The Chiefs are not expecting him to win a Super Bowl every single year. They know that, hey, we took him, we're signing him to this big deal coming off of a Super Bowl, but our expectation is not over these 10 years for him to win a Super Bowl. If that was the expectation, then all of his money would be guaranteed. But it's not. He has, guess what? Super Bowl incentives. It's like, hey, if you can get there again, here's 1.25 million. If you win it again, here's 2.5 million. These businesses know we're making this change. It's not like we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to continue to have to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And when you have companies like Mixer that take this charge by forking all this money over right away, you're going to have one or two things. One, you're going to have an instant success, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to manage the talent within that success. Or you're going to have exactly what happened. You're going to have a ton of talent, but you don't know what to do with it because it's not growing the way that you want it to. Which I guarantee you, Ninja's been probably treated like a god over at Twitch, and then he comes over to Mixer and he's constantly on conference calls and they're reading him statistics and trying to figure out why he's not putting up the numbers that he did in Twitch, and it's causing stress on him. And, obviously these are all allegations by myself. I don't know these for sure, but I can tell you just being in the business, being in business for this long, I can tell you that it happens everywhere. Everything that you do in the business world usually happens everywhere else, just in different ways. And I can guarantee you these guys are backing up the Brinks trucks and they're not getting the instant results that they wanted, and they're putting pressure on this talent that probably never gets that kind of pressure because they grew their fan base. Now they're expected to maintain and continue to grow that fan base, which isn't fair to them. So I'm not surprised at all, actually.
Yeah. But as they say, when one door closes, another opens. And there's been a very sudden emergence, which we won't get into this episode. We're waiting to hear a bit more about what they're all about. But if you are in the sphere, you've probably heard of a little upstart called Brime, which I guess we'll wait and see. Apparently they have made contact with some very notable streamers, trying to bring them over. And they seem very passionate about what they're doing. So let's just wait and see.
If it was me, like if I was a big time streamer, like if I was Ninja, I would 100% put my name in the basket for Brime, and not just to start streaming with them, but get to know the people that are starting this up and try to get involved immediately, because that's going to lead to overtime, longevity as far as success. Because you can work, a contract to where you just got paid out by Mixer and you basically did nothing compared to what you did at Twitch. So you can now go help start up a company like Brime. And now you're not only one of the biggest streamers, but now you're the biggest streamer on a platform that you have stock in or whatever. It wouldn't be a terrible move. You've already got paid out by a company that's no longer around. You got paid, you have the money. Why not work with a lower end startup like Brime and let it rise to the top? Now, if you don't think that it's going to get there, meet with the owners, meet with the, everyone that's getting it set up. And if you meet with them and you're like, yeah, this isn't going to hit the ground running, then back out. But I think it'd be a smart business decision for guys like Ninja, where you've already got paid out, take a chance.
Yep. They may not say this, but I'm going to say it right now. It always is more comfortable living in a house that you built.
Facts.
So jumping in early on Brime might be a huge move for not only the team behind Brime, but Ninja himself, and it could be huge. So it's a big wait and see. I'm excited. I have my Twitter notification set up for Brime's Twitter account, so I know when they post shit, and I want to know. I want the information because this has potential. These guys seem very passionate about what they're doing, and the fact that they basically exploded overnight, kind of in the shadow of the whole Dr. Disrespect situation. But they have people's attention, and now would be the time to capitalize. Strike while the iron's hot.
Yep.
But enough about the industry and all that. Let's get into the thing that people really care about, and that's our opinions and our fucking top tier lists. Now, Jason had...
It's time.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
UFC.
UFC.
But Jason came up with the idea today. we were discussing the show, and we were like, man, what else should we talk about? And he just sends me a screenshot of our show notes, and at the bottom it just says, top 10 most badass gaming characters? And I was like, fucking hey, let's do it. So we're going to talk about our some of our favorite badasses in the video game sphere. Now, this is not limited to one console, one generation of consoles, one game type, or anything like that. Once again, in the spirit of our last list, we do not know what's on each other's list. This was pure reactions. But we also don't know how we thought about it making our lists. I know how I made my list.
It's open-ended. You know, it's 10 most badass gaming characters. That could be a bunch of things. Is it they look badass? Is it do they do badass things? Or is it like every time I play with them, I feel like a badass? You don't know. That's kind of why these lists are fun.
Yeah. All of those things kind of went into making my list. Also, one thing that probably the thing that took me the most time when curating my list and ranking everyone was I'm a big story guy. So I think about character arc, character development, how they impact the story, how they lead it going forward. So that was a huge point in making my list, especially in the top 5. But we will get to that. I didn't do dishonorable mentions this time, but I know Jason did. And that was kind of funny. But we did do honorable mentions.
We did.
So let's start there. Who are your 3 honorables?
So my 3 honorables are Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, Pagan Min. I don't know if you've heard that name, but he is the villain in Far Cry 4. He's a psychopath, and talking about stories and how his character arc plays into it. It was one of the first games that I witnessed where, you know, the decision you make at either in the game or at the end of the game determines, you know, the ending. And it had different endings because at the very end of the game, spoiler alert, if you haven't played Far Cry 4, it's been out for a long time. So don't come at me or at me. It's fine.
Definitely at him.
At the end of the game, you like get to the top of this mountain where this dude's at, Pagan Min, and he's sitting there and there's a gun on the table. And when you walk in, he like doesn't know that you're there. And then he kind of like realizes you're there and there's the gun there. So it's like hit triangle to grab gun. So you like grab the gun and then it's like R2 to shoot. So it, like everyone's like, yeah, fuck this guy. Boom, blow his head off and then game's over. Or there's another ending where you don't shoot him and then it goes through like a little story arc and you kind of learn like why he became who he is. like all this, but I loved how the game creators knew that you're gonna hate this guy so much that you're just immediately that you get the opportunity to kill this guy, you're gonna pull the trigger. And that's what I did. I was like, boom, fuck you, let's go, just beat the game. And then like 2 days later, it was like, have you played the alternate ending? And I was like, what? And then it was like, yeah, when it shows R2, you just wait a couple seconds and then you don't shoot him. You're given an option to not shoot him. So I was like, oh, interesting. I'm going to go play it again and do that. So that's why he's on my list.
This guy beat the game 4 times. Just
4 times.
Yes.
It's Far Cry 4. You can't not beat it 4 times. It's like Star Wars. If it's Star Wars episode 1,000, you're watching it 1,000 times. So, I mean, you probably won't be alive by then, but anyways, you get the point. And then my shocker honorable is Faith from Mirror's Edge. She's badass. So
yeah, that's true.
she almost made my top 10, but I was like,
I was looking through my games when I was making this list, and I was like, Mirror's Edge, Faith was badass.
She's badass. Badass.
That's a good honorable mention list. Funny enough that one of those characters is on there.
Sub-Zero.
Because Scorpion's on mine, and I'm more of a Sub-Zero player. I enjoy Sub-Zero more, but Scorpion's so fucking iconic.
True.
Speaking of also iconic characters, I also have Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII on here, a game I recently got into. Nice. Super hard ass. And then my third one was kind of a joke, but also kind of not. Rambro from Broforce.
Broforce, nice.
Because, I mean, it's Rambo, but he's a bro, dude.
Yep.
It's fucking awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so honorable mentions are named. We talked about when we did this list that we can do like brief descriptions for our bottom 5, but then the top 5 will give them the platform that they deserve because they're the top 5 badasses. So number 10, who's number 10 on your most badass list?
BJ Blazkowicz.
Oh,
yes. You may know him as the main character from the Wolfenstein series.
Nice. I like it.
Every time I play the Wolfenstein games, which are like more challenging than you think they are, but every time I play as him, I feel like just the meanest son of a bitch in the entire world. And most of all, the best thing about it, he just kills Nazis all the time. Like, fuck them.
That's awesome.
So BJ Blazkowicz was my number 10.
That's good. That's a good number 10. My number 10 is Samus. The reason why I put Samus there was that was the first character that I was like, wait, that's a girl? Mm-hmm. I used to play as Samus all the time, Smash Bros. And I was like, dude, Samus is a badass. That dude's fire. And one of my buddies was like, you know it's a girl, right? I was like, no, because I don't play Nintendo games except for Smash Bros. And it doesn't say Samus in a girl name. It says Samus. So, I don't know that it's a girl. It's in a robot costume. How do I know that it's a girl? When I found out it was a girl, I was like, okay, now major badass. So that Samus is my number 10, major badass. And when I was telling you, I wasn't sure if they were going to be in the top 10. Faith and Samus were my flip-flop.
Oh, okay.
Who was going to be 10 or who was going to be honorable mention. But Samus deserves it as being one of my, I believe, my only Nintendo character. So
also, just no knocks to the Mirror's Edge series. The first one was kind of okay, but the second one was really good. But Samus is just so iconic.
Oh, so
way more games under her belt than 2.
Yep. So. Yep, and more deaths under her belt when controlled by me, because that was like the only character I used.
Facts. Number 9, who you got?
Number 9. This is where I think that our lists go different because we're different gamers.
Mm-hmm.
You alluded to story-based. I'm sports-based. So number 9 on my list, Stretch from NBA Street Volume 2. Literally a video game that is made after professional basketball players playing 3-on-3 basketball, and Stretch is the main character on the cover. Like, they did such a good job with him really building his character up as you play through the games and build your team with all the NBA players that you bring onto your roster. And the entire time you're just trying to get to Stretch and beat Stretch. And Stretch is like, no, you're not even good enough to be on my court. And as a kid playing that game, you're just like, I can beat you right now, but the game doesn't let you. So Stretch, iconic basketball star, literally looks like Dr. J. But, and honestly, as a kid, I thought Stretch was Dr. J. I had to later find out that Stretch was just a made up character that was based off of Dr. J. But yeah, Stretch, number 9 for me.
My number 9 would have been way funnier if I put him at a different level or a different spot, just because of like the catchphrase. But my number 9, Bravo 6, going dark.
Ooh,
Captain Price.
Price was on my list too, and I took him off.
Bro, Price is badass.
He's
like him and the human frag grenade in the in the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign. He's just like a no nonsense, but like doesn't necessarily need to play everything by the book. He's just like, fuck it.
Or
gets
play
the
anything
job
at
done.
all. Like, he doesn't even have to be a part of the entire story. But like when he comes in, it's like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And like when you can watch like a theatrical part of the story and all you see is just the amber of his cigar and you're like, oh shit, it's Price. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I commend you for putting him in your top 10. He was actually a scratch off for me, but nice work. Number 8, who you got?
Number 8, I have Cole McGrath from the first 2 Infamous games.
Nice.
Infamous was a very important game for me for the PlayStation 3. It was a game that I had not heard about until one of my friends was like, oh, you have this game? Here, I'll trade you Infamous for it. I was like, no idea what that fucking game is, but sure, why not, man? And I gave him whatever the hell it was and started playing Infamous, and I just like got attached. The character was super cool, and the fact that it had that morality system in the game where you could be a hero in the public's eyes or just a fuck face and just murder everything was awesome. And his powers were super cool. And in those games, you see a lot of character development. And I really like the versatility between the games. So Cole McGrath's my number 8.
That's a good number 8. That's a good number 8.
What you got?
I have Eddie from Tekken.
Fuck yeah.
3 words. Breakdancing fighter. I don't need to say anymore.
Nope.
I mean, the dude had a secondary dress that was literally a disco DJ with a fro. Like, literally every Tekken game from like Tekken 3 up, Eddie was the only character that I played. And if I had to unlock him, I would literally do just the challenges to unlock him, and then it's the only character I played as. A boss. Absolute boss. So that's my number 8.
Hell yeah. Good one. That's a good pick.
I liked it. I actually moved him up. He was 10, and then I was like, no, he deserves more respect. So
yeah.
I bumped him up to numero 8. Number 7 for me is an iconic PlayStation hero, Nathan Drake. For me, it was one I alluded to it when we were talking about, what determines badass. Like for me, when I played as Nathan Drake, I felt like a badass. Like I felt like I could do the shit that he was doing when I definitely couldn't do the shit he was doing. And really what made it pop into my head immediately was I remember when I was playing Uncharted 3 and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, comes up and is watching me play this game. And she's like, oh, this is a cool movie. I was like, no, this is actually a video game. And she's like, oh my God, the suspense in this is intense. Like, yeah, it is. And
Fucking A right, Kayla.
Nathan Drake is a bad ass, and I literally would play any Uncharted game that came out, even if the gameplay started to suck, just so I can continue to follow Nathan Drake's storyline.
True facts, dude.
Who you got? Number 7.
Number 7, a character from a game series I have talked about a lot on this show.
Oh no, I know who it is.
Do you? Give me your guess.
I don't want to ruin it.
No, give me your guess.
No, I'll write it down. I'll write it down. I'm not going to ruin it. I want you to be able to be like, boom.
Okay. My number 7 actually doesn't have a name. He just goes by the code name Agent 47 from the Hitman series.
Ah.
Yeah, see, he didn't know. He didn't know.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. You thought that I didn't know. I didn't write Agent 47, though.
Did you just write Hitman?
Yeah, I just wrote Hitman.
All right. Yeah, he's fucking just garrote people.
Yeah.
Take their clothes, leave them in their fucking underwear. Just fuck it.
Badass.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say. I mean, he didn't really have much character work until like Hitman Absolution, when he's like, "Oh, now I gotta protect this kid." Fucking. First off, the kid doesn't need to be there, but all right, still a decent game.
Good character. Good pick. Who's your number 6?
Number 6 for me was a historical figure known by the name of Ezio Auditore from the Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood and Revelations. Fucking phenomenal character. Just stabbing people with his wrist blade and like saying shit in Italian that I just don't understand. But he sounded cool doing it. So
he did look cool too.
Yeah, I was actually just playing Assassin's Creed 2. So
nice. That's a good pick. I like that pick. My number 6, Lara Croft.
Okay.
And not Angelina Jolie.
No, fuck that. No one was second.
No. Pixelated still had a nice ass, Lara Croft. Yeah.
Super triangle titties.
super good game. Super cool character. Obviously, when it comes to female characters, a staple. And she just fit the gameplay perfectly, the storyline perfectly. Even the newest movie that they made did a really good job with her character arc. And Lara Croft is number 6 for me.
Oh, yeah. Good pick.
Thank you.
Number 5. Who do you got?
Number 5.
This is where we're gonna get in depth about shit.
This is so. I'm gonna give you a hint as to who it is, and you don't have to say who it is, but I want to see if you know who I'm talking about. I wrote down for my notes. I just wrote down Merc with a mouth, but not Deadpool.
Go ahead.
I've actually talked about this game a lot as of late, which is funny because I haven't talked about this game in years. But Tyson Rios from Army of Two. That dude is a fucking badass. Like, that dude is just straight raw. Like, when you play as that guy, you're just like, I feel sorry for these fake characters that I'm absolutely obliterating. This dude is a monster. A monster. I would literally play the game, even though I beat it like 4,000 times. I would play it by myself just to like hear the character banter between Tyson and Emmett or whatever the other guy's name is.
Yeah, he's not important.
No, Tyson is a boss and like one of the greatest mercenaries characters that PlayStation, or not PlayStation, but video game developers have come up with and have been on consoles. Just a badass big dude. The mask doesn't do his enemies any favors because he looks even more badass when he puts on a dope mask. So yeah, Tyson Rios for me is my number 5.
That's an excellent pick because we have been talking about Army of Two a lot lately off the record.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we hung out when that game first came out. You were like, "Have you ever heard of this game, Army of Two?" I was like, "No." They say "fuck" a lot in this game, and I was, "Oh, sounds like my type of game."
Yeah, it was a great game. Great game.
Now, my number 5. You may know of this character. You may have heard of them, especially like very recently, because my number 5 is Lara Croft.
Nice.
But not triangle titty Lara Croft. No.
Ah.
I'm talking about the rebooted Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider game that came out on the PS3, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I fucking love it. Her character, like, she's always been a very smart person, but then having to put her smarts and skills to the test in these situations she was not prepared for. Having to learn things on the fly, and just her absolute versatility have always been a wonderful draw for me to those games. And I just love, especially in those rebooted games, her character arc is phenomenal. So Lara Croft is my number 5.
Nice.
Number 4 for me, another repeat offender today.
Nice.
Nathan Drake.
Shout out the boy.
Dude, fucking Nathan Drake is so good. Speaking on character arcs, Uncharted 3 and 4 definitely showed a lot more growth than 1 and 2 for his character. But he's, like you said, I can't say anything that you already didn't say. He's just a badass. And the cinematography of the Uncharted games, especially later down the line, really helped boost the fact that he is not someone to just take lightly and fuck around with.
Nope.
So Nathan Drake's my number 4.
Good number 4. Good number 4.
How about you?
My number 4 is another villain, and that is Voss Montenegro. You have seen his ugly mullet and Derek Carr looking eyeballs in the video game Far Cry 3. This guy is the definition of a psychopath, and the gentleman that had to voice him, I feel sorry for, and the gentleman that created him needs to go see a doctor, because this dude is legit psycho, and was the only thinking, aside from like Fear or games that are literally made to make you jump out of your seat, like Resident Evil, this villain was the only villain that I was legitimately scared for my character, because I didn't know if because Far Cry 3 was the first Far Cry game that I actually played all the way through, and I knew it was a story-based game, so I didn't know if like, hey, this is one of those games where like your main character dies, but one of the other characters that was around your character comes back and avenges him. Like, I don't know if this guy's going to die and then I have to take over someone else. And with Voss, you legitimately had no idea what was going to happen, and you were constantly being caught by him. You were constantly in captivity, and he would give these speeches that were just like terrifying. He gives the speech, if you just look up Voss Montenegro, and I guarantee you, like, the first video that pops up is his clip of explaining insanity. And it's literally like a minute and a half of him just like, you know what insanity is? And he like explains it, and then mid conversation, he just like freaks out and he's like, I don't like the way you're looking at me. And it was just like, he would flip on a dime, and you're like, oh shit, I'm dead. Like, I'm going to die. My character's going to die. This sucks. Like, please don't kill me. Like,
literally looked at him funny, and now I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah. Like, awesome. Like, they did a great job with that character. The first character that I ever actually feared for my character. So Voss Montenegro is my number 4.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
I find it very interesting that you included villains on your list. I kept mine to strictly protagonists or supporting characters, I guess, if you want to consider Captain Price in some of the later games as a supporting character. But I like that pick. I really like the inclusion.
Yeah, just trying to spread the love.
Yeah, dude. Even to fucking crazy people.
Right. Straight psychopaths.
Yeah. I mean, we need love too.
Yeah. Facts.
Moving into the beloved top 3. Who's your number 3 and why?
I'm gonna give you his phrase, and you're gonna know who it is.
Okay.
Get over here!
Ah, fucking Liu Kang, sick. I'm just kidding.
Scorpion. Scorpion is my number 3. I have so many reasons as to why he's my number 3, but why he stuck out to me was I told the story either on this podcast or another podcast when I was at the Kings Stanley Cup.
Yep, that was on our last list.
I saw the poster, and it was just an X with Scorpion's spear coming out. And like when you can just show a part of a character and it sells people on what the entire game is, when that game has 20 plus playable characters, like that's definition of a badass to me. And when you play as him, you're like, okay, no dude is beating me. I have a fucking spear that flies out of my fucking arm. Like, Scorpion by far is the most badass player of the Mortal Kombat series and the most fun character to play with all of his moves and his finishes. What they can do with that character is endless, and he's so much fun to play with, and he's just a total badass. And that's why he is number 3 on my list.
Good pick.
Thank you. Who's number 3 for you?
Snake.
By the way, just like last episode or last time we did a top 10, I wrote your top 3s as a guess. I'm 1 for 1.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Let me tell you, when it comes to tactical espionage action, Solid Snake is second to none. When you can sit inside of a cardboard box and fool people and then just absolutely decimate them and not let anyone know you were there, you're fucking insane. You're crazy. And I love it. And plus he's been around for so long, not just in the history of how long Metal Gear Solid games have been around, but canonically. Like, this dates back to Vietnam.
Nam.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, Solid Snake, he's just so great. And so many twists and turns in those games that some of them don't exactly make sense. You kind of have to take everything and put it into order and in context, but he's iconic to say the least. And I always feel badass when I'm able to take out an entire base of fucking dudes and just not have any proof that I was even there.
Like, yeah, it's a good pick. Never really got into those games. But when I did, or watch people, or when I did play them, I played the original Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, good game series, good pick. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, I didn't get into them until Metal Gear Solid 5, which was a lot easier for me to get into than some of the other games.
But, who's your first loser?
My first loser, he's probably gonna fucking kill me for saying this, would be Kratos. 2 for 2. All right. I can't wait to see if you guessed my number one. Because if you
When
did, dude.
when you told me I wouldn't guess it, I was like, damn it. Because I wrote one though, I was like, it's gotta be this. And when you said I won't guess it, I was like, shit. And I started second guessing my list. But I'm gonna stick with it because I'm probably gonna get it wrong, but I'm 2 for 2 and I'm proud of that.
Oh yeah, dude. You know what? I'm proud of you. You know me better than I know myself. Just so everyone knows, when we were writing these lists, my top 4 came to me off the top of my head, and I wrote them down in order.
Nice.
So, Kratos, I mean, what more can be said about the God of War?
Yeah.
Like in the theme of character development, the thing that I love so much, from what I've seen, as we know, I have not played the game, but from the newest God of War, there's a whole different side of Kratos that you see, and there's, caring and not just a bloodlust. So, I really like his character. Plus, his Blades of Chaos are fucking insane. I love it.
Facts.
Kratos,
Facts.
number 2.
Nice. Should we just move to number 1 since Kratos is also my number 2? Because Kratos is a absolute bad ass. I can't even put into words the first time I ever played God of War and how I hated like button mashing games. But it didn't matter. It was just so cool. Like it was just like everything about that game was awesome. And even if there was times where it was like, oh, I hate the movement, or I don't like the button mashing, or these things that keep slowing me down are really annoying because they're pointless in the game. Like no matter what, you were Kratos, and that is what made the game awesome. And Kratos by far, almost my number 1, but I couldn't sleep on my boy. So Kratos is for sure my number 2 on my list. I would never, ever, ever leave that man off of my list.
So who's your boy?
My number 1, my ride or die. He's the GOAT, man. Like I'm trying to think of like words, but I don't think that I can. Pablo Sanchez, the greatest baseball player / basketball player / hockey player / every single sport player of all time. That little chubby man is the secret weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. Born on August 18th. He does not speak any English, but he knows the language of all sports. Simply put, this kid is good. And no, that is not a direct quote from Backyard Baseball.
That's absolutely a direct quote.
100% the greatest athlete of all time. I don't care if you're an MJ fan or a LeBron fan or a Lawrence Taylor fan. Pablo Sanchez is the GOAT.
Pablo Sanchez beats all those players you just named at the same time in their each individual sports.
Facts.
That is a wonderful pick. I love that. Adios, baseball.
Adios, baseball.
I'm actually kind of angry that you didn't wear your Pablo Sanchez shirt now.
I almost did, but I was like, I'm not going to give it away because I feel like once I wore it, then it's like, okay, he's deaf. And especially when I pick stretch later in my picks, and he's like, okay, he's going sports a little bit. So let's assume Pablo's going to be on this list. I didn't want to give it away. So shout out to Manscaped.
Fuck yeah, dude. They don't sponsor us, but they fucking could.
They should.
Yeah. Fucking trim your nuts.
Trim your nuts.
So, my number 1. The anticipation on your end. Before I get into it, I have to read a quote.
Okay.
And it is a quote from their selected game, the game I based this off of.
Okay.
The quote is, "I'm just a girl, not a threat." And then someone replies, "Oh, Ellie, I think they should be terrified of you." Yes. Ellie, The Last of Us Part 2, a game I just fucking finished 2 days ago. Holy fucking shit. I'm actually super proud of you that you got that.
Yes.
Jason's 2 for 2 on my top 3s.
Bro, I was so like, when you said you're not going to get it, my brain was like, okay, shit. Think of an indie game that he played that I've never even heard of. Come on, think. Like, I was gonna put the fucking big old dude from BioShock. Like,
Oh, Big Daddy?
Yeah, Big Daddy. Like, I was thinking like characters like that. I was like, okay, he's going in a direction that I'm not anticipating. I don't like this. Like, you were so confident in that I wasn't gonna know it that you freaked me. But I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick to it, whether I'm 2 for 3, 1 for 3, 3 for 3. I don't care. Ellie's number 1. Yep. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of you because it's a great list.
Dude, Ellie, for people who haven't played The Last of Us, play it. And if you haven't played The Last of Us 2, or you're kind of like on the fence, man, it's just such an experience. Me and my boy Kyle had a very in-depth conversation about the game this morning before I went to work, because he finished it in a few days and it's been out for a few weeks now, and I was very hyped about it, and I just finished it, and I did a wonderful job of avoiding all spoilers, which is why I will not spoil it for anyone now. But just her development as a person, maybe not necessarily in the best way, maybe not in like a good, lighthearted way. She is, if I ever ran across Ellie in dilapidated apocalypse setting, I'm probably screaming, peeing, and shitting myself and running away in like the farthest opposite direction, and she'll probably still kill me. She will follow me to the ends of the earth to fucking murder my face. And I don't blame her. I suck. And she's a badass. That's why she's my number 1.
Good number 1. Good number 1. Good.
Play the fucking game, people. I'm going to have a discussion with you after this about a possibility of a thing. Oh. But we will talk about that.
Hanger.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there might be some content coming the way. I don't know.
Tease. Oh, snap. Yeah. He's coming with all guns a-blazing. I would like to say great list.
Thank you.
I love doing these. I look forward to doing more. Shout out to the OG characters that didn't get a nod, like Crash Bandicoot, Mario.
True. He killed a lot of Goombas.
He did. I mean, I thought about putting Mario, and then I thought of the Family Guy episode where he's like, I jump on the turtle, Stewie. It's not an exciting life, but it's my life. Like, when Family Guy makes fun of you, you might not be a badass.
That's why you'd have to choose Waluigi, the greatest Mario character of all time.
He sucks at tennis. But yeah, shout out to all the OGs. Sonic didn't get a nod.
Yeah. Or Knuckles, because some people would say Knuckles is more badass than Sonic.
Knuckles is just the gothic version of Sonic.
That's Shadow. But
no, Shadow's the emo. There's a difference.
That's true. I should know. I am one of those.
Or both.
Oh, now I'm in an existential crisis. More so than I was before.
All in all, good list, good content. Yes. I appreciate the detail that went into your list.
I appreciate.
I'm glad that we were on the same page. I like that.
Yeah, I like how Kratos was both.
Yeah, we talked before the list that we weren't going to have as many We didn't think as many similarities, but we had 3: Nathan Drake,
Yep.
Croft, and Kratos. And Kratos was in the exact same spot for us. So we have the same appreciation in most areas. Just we find different details more exciting in different games, and that's fine.
You know, you brought this up on the last list we did, is that it's so interesting that you and I obviously were blood, and we spend a lot of time playing games together and talking about all sorts of different things. And one thing we really talk about all the time, obviously we have a podcast about this, is video games. And we are 2 very different people when it comes to video games, but we're able to have like this common ground to where we can see from each other's point of views and we can agree on things. I don't think there's a single person in your list I disagree with. Granted, there are games that I have not played, like Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3. Never played those games. Maybe I'll revisit those. Maybe I'll visit those since you've been talking so much shit on their behalf.
Good shit. They're good.
Yeah, good shit, not bad shit.
No. No, I don't have it. I didn't get rid of it. I still have to have it. Oh, maybe I did. Shame on me.
Shame on you. You brought dishonor on your whole family.
I did. I feel. Oh no. That's so sad. Oh.
Speaking of Dishonor, I almost put the main character from Dishonored on my honorable mentions.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have talked a lot of shit on behalf of Dishonored recently, and to be frank, I feel more passionate about all the characters that I named. But that is our top 10s. If you guys have any ideas on future top 10s you'd like us to talk about, whether it be video games of all time, which is I'm sure a list that will be coming in the future, just not yet. Probably wait for after the PS5 releases and we finish Miles Morales to make that list, because that'll probably be on there.
Big facts.
Yeah. Give us your suggestions. Top 10 villains, top 10 games, top 10 fucking...
Let's not do top 10 fucking. I don't want to have to go through the small library of video game sex scenes to pick my top 10, because we all know what number 1 is.
It's true. It's the scene from The Last of Us Part 2.
There's a sex scene in The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, I was definitely going Kratos, because anyone that gets that dong is a wondrous woman.
Yep. Or the hot coffee mod for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where you get to have the sex minigame. Shout out to hot coffee mod.
I think actually that would be the one list where Duke Nukem might make the top 10.
Yeah. He was, by the way, since we talked about this off the record, we talked about Jason's dishonorable mentions, and Duke Nukem was absolutely on that list.
First guy on it.
Yeah, he would have been all 3 entries for me. Duke Nukem Forever was so fucking bad.
So bad. The first one actually was pretty good, and it was like a different type of game, but it was just like they took that character, like they repeated it too much. It wasn't good.
Yeah. There's only so many dick and fart jokes that I don't tell that I can fucking deal with.
True.
Yeah. I'm here to... There was a fucking meme I saw a long time ago. It was like a shitty drawing of Duke Nukem, and says, I'm here to kick bubblegum and chew ass, and I'm all out of ass. Dick Kickem.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Shout out to Dick Kickem.
Dick Kickem. I like it.
I wonder if he ever grabbed his dick and twisted it.
Twist his dick. Oh my God, dude. The old dick twist.
Gotta get the motion in there for the YouTube audience.
We might get the old dick twist on Yas Island.
That's true. Who knows? This is... I don't think the Nevada State Athletics Commission reaches Abu Dhabi.
Definitely doesn't. I'm actually super bummed that the Masvidal fight isn't going to include the BMF title.
I know, dude. Shout out to Masvidal, who said he was retiring, and now he's fighting Usman.
On 5 days' notice.
Yeah, dude. I'm
gonna win.
that might be something we disagree on. I don't know.
Win.
This is gonna be a good atmosphere for when we watch the fights.
Hear me out. I want Usman to win because I think Usman is the most all-around fighter in that weight class. However, Masvidal is no one to fuck with, and when
Same
you are
with the Wu-Tang Clan.
facts, when you are UFC, if it comes to a decision, who sells more, Usman or Masvidal? Especially when Masvidal has already created bad blood with guys with the likes of Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, BMF title rematch, perhaps. That's also for the title, a 2-belt fight.
Ooh. Dude, Jorge
Oh
Two Belts.
God, who knows? All I'm saying is, if Usman doesn't knock this dude out or submit his ass, Masvidal wins.
It's true. Gotta watch out for that flying knee. That knee is nar.
Narner. Put you
But-
night-night.
Yeah. We go night. Everybody go night.
Everybody go night.
But that being said, with our list concluded, so is episode 4 of the Mashing Joys podcast. If you guys have enjoyed, feel free, if you're on YouTube, to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and smash that fucking bell to get notifications whenever we have a new episode going live. And if you are on the streaming services, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, are we on iHeartRadio and Pandora yet?
I do not believe so. I think Pandora and iHeartRadio have been really set back with this whole COVID thing going on. When they messaged me back and let me know that everything was under review, they said to give it up to 14 days. So
Yikes.
that would have been 14 days from episode 1. So
Yeah, it's been like a week.
It's been, yeah. So
Because we're
soon.
busting the content out here at
Soon.
Mashing Joys.
Soon.
So
Not to be confused with Zoom.
yeah, which is what we're recording on.
Shout out to Zoom.
Yeah, making all this possible. Zoom, if you want to sponsor us, cool.
Yeah.
If not, totally
If
good.
not, we're going to keep using your product. So
Yep, it's a free product, and it's pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not sorry at all. I'm not
Okay.
sorry at all. It's
Sorry.
So that being said, we are looking forward to episode 5. Should be dropping on Monday.
Maybe a little UFC recap.
Maybe, probably. Maybe you might have to tune into a little podcast I've heard about. Quite possibly the fastest growing sports podcast in Idaho. Case in point, hosted by the one and only man in front of me, Jason Kaysen. Maybe in the future, maybe sooner than anyone thinks, you might be hearing another familiar voice on that podcast discussing some
Was this that
sports.
cliffhanger that you were alluding to earlier?
Ooh, it's not, but maybe I'll throw another hat in the ring. Maybe I'll
Oh,
just fucking...
shit. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
snap.
My hair's all slicked back because I wear a hat all day, and I've got lines.
Looks good.
Thanks, bro. You didn't have to.
You're right. I didn't, but I did. So
Yeah.
deal with it.
Appreciate you, dog.
There's a reason why I have like 1/90th of my collection behind me,
Yeah.
because this hair, when it's not faded, does not go. It's not shown to the public. So
Yeah.
I always need backups.
It's true. That's why he's got, let's see here, he's got Baby Yoda, like 4 different Angels hats.
5.
5? Is that one all the way over?
Yep. California
Angels
Angels. Yep. So we got Miami All-Star Angels, St. Patrick's Day, spring training, just all white, and then California Angels, and then Squid.
Yep.
And Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. And Cat Dog.
And Cat Dog.
Yeah, dude. I feel bad that I threw my brand new All Elite Wrestling hat on the floor.
I mean, don't. It's where it belongs.
Whoa, dude. I'd watch that mouth. Maybe you'll get invited to a super kick party hosted by the Young Bucks, who have been killing the business, by the way, in case you didn't know.
I don't know who that is.
That's all wrestling stuff. I don't blame you for not knowing.
Because I watch Real Sports. Is that what you were going to follow that up with?
Sure. You watch non-predetermined
Entertainment.
programming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe we'll save the wrestle talk for another episode where I just like rant for 7 days about everything.
Maybe.
Probably not, because then again, there are 2 people who have a say in this podcast.
Facts.
Although he has said he will never censor me.
That's
that
true.
I do have.
I did say that. And I regret it immediately.
Yeah. But that is going to be it for us today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you thought in the comments section on the social medias. Mashing Joys on Facebook, at Mashing Joys on Twitter and Instagram. Shoot us a message. Let us know. Who do you want on the stream? What do you want us to talk about? Tell me I look good. I don't know. Lie to my face is what I'm saying.
Please like me.
Yeah, please be my friend. Speaking of friends, one last shout out to my main man, Garrett, serving our country and also celebrating his 23rd birthday today. Happy birthday, Tony G. I love you dearly, brother.
Serving our country and serving finishing moves on all the guys that I down because he's a kill stealer.
Yep. That happens.
Still appreciate him, though.
Yeah. Love him to death. Great guy. Salt of the earth. But that is it. That is episode 4 in the books. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. As always, I have been Cody.
And I'm still Jason.
And this has been the Mashing Joys podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Eat your fucking vegetables. And most importantly, just have a good rest of your day. See ya! See ya!
Tight.